Hello, happy Tuesday. I haven't been on because I've not had much to say. Nothing to show you because I've been busy tidying up. I had Gigi over the weekend, well, one day of the weekend. And I was going to make a video earlier today because I had the lovely Poppy with me. If you remember Poppy, my son's dog. Well, one of your dogs, unfortunately, he's only got one at the moment now. And she stayed overnight because my son and his wife had been to a rock thing that was on all day and the evening as well. So rather than leave her on her own, she came to see her gran. It was lovely to have her. If you're looking what's here, it's Paris. But unfortunately when I moved her, she sort of fell off at plinth. So I need to get some super glue, Gorilla Glue or whatever to glue her back together. So she's leaning rather drunkenly against the wall. I just had the window cleaner in before, that's why I'm late making a video, and I hope it's not too dark because it's going a bit dull out there. And of course I never thought, I forgot to warn him that there's a mannequin in here. And he was like, oh my goodness, he said she scared me to death. I forget she's here because, you know, she's been here so long that, you know, I forget that when people come in they go, whoa, what's that? Anyway, I managed to get a hold of another copy of the pattern that I searched high and low for and wasted 3 days looking for. That was it. It's a hayfield pattern. I hope you can see it on the glare, you know, the glare, the dazzle is of the glare isn't hitting the pattern. The trouble is they make patterns in this shiny material these days. I got mine off eBay, so I know it's still available. It's hayfield and it's 00839. I have got a copy somewhere, but where it is I don't know because I've made it about 3 or 4 times. But rather than drive myself crazy looking for it, I have started it, but the only thing different is I haven't put the rib on the bottom yet because, as you can see, it's a boxy kind of ribbon that goes in, and I find, you know, being so slender around the middle area that it's too tight for me. It's nice for somebody slender, I suppose. It'd be like blousing over, wouldn't it, with a tight band. So I will put a band on it, but I'll put my band on it afterwards. I'm using James C. Brett, which is gorgeous yarn if you've never used it. It's the marble double knitting that I found upstairs in my stash room, craft room, I beg your pardon, craft room, when I was rooty-tootying and I'd forgotten I ever had it. I'd obviously started it at some times because there was one ball that was completely unravelled and rewound. So I don't honestly remember what it was I'd got the yarn for. But it's being turned into a jacket now. And this is how it's turning out. Oops. As you can see, I always make a bigger size in case it doesn't sell and then it fits me. That's why I've got so many things in my wardrobe. I've got more woolies. If I wore one every day I wouldn't have to wash for well, not a fortnight, about a year I think. That's what it looks like. Hope you can see the pattern. It's sort of like a staggered shell with just ordinary trebles or double crochets if you're American in between. But I made my first one in sort of like a mustard colour, and I put like metal buttons. I won't say gold buttons because they're not, they're metal, but they have a gold finish to them. And I wore it for absolutely ages because I loved it so much. And I've never been sort of like a gold mustard person, but I must admit it went with lots of things. But there's no gold in my stash at the moment, so we're not making gold. We're doing beige or shades of, because it's, you know, it sort of fades. If you can see from one shade to another, it goes darker, then it goes lighter, and then some of the rows have got dark and light in it, and yet you get other rows that are like a band of light. I'm sure it'll be alright when it's done. But I think I've got some of this yarn actually in like a bluey colour. See, I'm finding all sorts of things in that craft room I knew nothing about. Yeah, well, even my son walked in the other day when he dropped Poppy off and said, "Oh, looks a lot better in here." That's high praise from my son, high praise. So, I haven't really been doing a lot. I didn't go anywhere at the weekend. I did watch the Manchester Pride Parade, but only on the Manchester Evening News, like live. I watched it. I know it's gay pride, but you don't have to be gay to enjoy a parade, do you? You can be anybody. I just love the atmosphere and the music, and everybody's having such a good time, you know. And it's a lovely atmosphere. I've been going for years. It's only since I've been less able to stand that I can't go anymore now, because I can't stand there like I used to and watch the parade go by. So I was very happy that the Manchester Evening News put it on their webpage, so I could actually watch the floats going by. I probably had a better view than I would have done if I'd have been there. Still, yeah. Do you like my necklace? I do. But then I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't like it, would I? It's sort of black and, well, imitation crystals, they're plastic, aren't they, really? And these always sort of remind me of like Indian or Tibetan. And as for what I'm wearing, well, it was a free pattern and it was a Doris Chan. But you wouldn't recognise it because it carried on with all this open work down here, which I thought, no. So I devised my own bit here and just carried on with the little sort of cable effect. Obviously it's top down, but I can't remember where I found it now. It's such a long time since I made it. But I don't actually wear it much because it tends to twist. So instead of these lines going straight down like that, they tend to go like that. So I don't wear it a lot, even though I do like it. But I'm sure you'll find it. I think maybe it was Karen, a free Karen pattern. But I can't remember. It's in white on the pattern, but it does have lacy open work all the way down. So you might not recognise it. I have no idea what the pattern is. All I can remember is it was a Doris Chan and it was free. Well, the weather's turning a little bit colder here now. Getting towards the end of August. Almost the last day of August. I think that's tomorrow, I think. I have to try to remember. 30 days of September, April, June and November. No, there's 31 days in August, so we're a couple of days away from the end of August. And as for summer, well, Manchester really hasn't had much at all. We do sometimes get the odd flurry, you know, in September when it gets a bit warmer. My mum used to always call it an Indian summer. I don't know why it's an Indian summer. I've really no idea. I'm sure somebody will know. And oh, thanks for somebody who's put in the comments what a doffer was when I said my auntie was a piecer and a doffer. Of course it was taking the bobbins off the machine when they were either empty or full. Not sure which one. And it came to me as soon as you wrote it down. It came to my mind, yeah. See, I was brought up in a cotton household and forgotten that. Disgrace to the family. I wished I'd have taken more notice, really, when I was younger, but you don't, do you, when you're a kid? You think that the cotton mills will go on forever. You don't think that when you get to be in your 20s that they'd all have declined and one by one they would close down. You don't think that way. You know, cotton had been so much a part of my childhood that I thought it would always be there. I suppose it's the same with most things, really, isn't it? You wish that you would have taken more notice when you were a child of things that your parents did or were doing, or your grandparents did or were doing. But of course you don't, do you? Because that's not the way the world runs. And I didn't have a camera back then, so I've got very, very few photographs of my relatives. we didn't really have a camera until my son was probably about 2. We had an old little black and white camera that took the, you know, the films that you took in to have them developed and that. But when we first got married, you know, pennies were a little bit scarce. So taking photographs was kind of like a bit of a luxury, really. Taking coloured ones was even more of a luxury because they cost more to develop. So we tended to really go for the black and white photos, which is such a shame now when you think about it. I mean, now you take it for granted. You can take these digital photographs of your children, your grandchildren, whatever. And the dog, the cat. I was trying to take a photograph of Poppy, but she's very camera shy, and every time I got anywhere near her with a camera, she just turned around and went the other way. And I didn't think anybody would want to see a photograph of Poppy's tail disappearing in the distance, because I just couldn't get around to getting her head. If I'd go around the front of her, she'd turn around and go the other way. I think she's a, you know, a bit of a, what she called, Greta Garbo. I want to be alone. Some people are like that. I don't really like having my photo took. I know it sounds daft because I'm on this video. But being on the video is different because I tend to just waffle on. I don't really think about what's on the other side of the camera. But when somebody says, you know, we're taking a photograph, and you're going, and then eventually your smile goes worse, doesn't it, because they're taking too long to take the photo. So all of my photographs are either like that or like, you know, there's no happy medium with me. And nobody took any photographs at the family reunion, and I didn't take my camera, so I'm as bad. I'm as bad. It's like you're saying, you just don't think about occasions like this. Some people do. Some people say, well, they've got cameras on their phones, haven't they, and things like that. I don't have a fancy phone. And, you know, they just snap away at something that they see. I mean, I never carry a camera, so like if I see something in a shop window that inspires me when I am actually out and about, and I think, oh, I wish I had a camera. That would really inspire me for something in my crochet or something, whatever. I mean, it's not so bad when you see it on Pinterest, is it, or when you see it on other people's pages, because you can sort of save like that shot, can't you? You can save that photograph, you can save whatever to inspire you, because sometimes it can be the colours of something that inspires me. It can be a fabric dress or a fabric top or something that the colour inspires me, and I think I'm going to keep that photograph for later, because that's what I get inspiration from. It's not actually sort of looking at Ravelry. I do look at Ravelry, yes I do. I don't look at Pinterest as much because it's a time thief, Pinterest, to me. You go on Pinterest for 5 minutes and 5 hours later you're still on there, aren't you, you know. So I tend to not be. I actually went on Instagram for the first time for about 4 months the other day, but it was on my tablet and it's all over the place, and I never got the habit of Instagram. The fact you have to take a photograph of something before you can post anything. It's alright if you've got things to take photos of, but I mean mine would be the same photographs of the same things because I haven't progressed. And who wants 2,000 photographs of Gigi? Because that's what it would be every day. That's what it would be. I don't like taking selfies, you know. I'm not, as you say, I don't have a phone, you know, so I can go everywhere I go. Look at me outside of here. Look at me outside of here. And I can't take photographs of the lunches and dinners and things that I'm eating because I rarely go out. So, and I'm sure you don't want to look at a photograph of my dinner, especially when I've cooked it. Not an appealing sight, believe me. I think I told you I've got these books that I got the other day that meant for students, you know, like 101 Toasties series or Cooking on a Budget. But unfortunately, couple of these books were published in 1999, and what might have been a cheap dinner back then is not a cheap dinner now, you know. It's like saying get 2 lamb chops, and I'm thinking, oh yes, I would have to get a mortgage to get 2 lamb chops. Yes, right. Scrub that idea. Oh, they have lots of ingredients that I don't have in my cupboards. And I'm not about to go and purchase said ingredients to have in my cupboards, because this fad of cooking things will pass. And I will be left with lots and lots of out-of-date condiments, let's just say. Herbs, spices, condiments. I mean, it's not that long ago since I went through the cupboards and I threw nearly every jar of herbs and spices because they weren't just a little bit out of date. We're talking sort of like years out of date. And what should have been nice bright chopped mint was like this dust which didn't even smell of mint, and I'm certain I wouldn't want to put it in a casserole or anything like that. So that got scrubbed. I think I've got about 3 now, which I just bought because they were staple universal things that you can put on anything. I thought this is obviously the way for me to go. Barbecue seasoning or jerk seasoning. I love that on chicken or anything like that. So those are the kind of things I just have, and I don't have anything fancy. I used to have herbs growing outside when I used to grow things, but not anymore. I've just realised that my latest videos have had absolutely nothing to do with crochet. You wouldn't think I was a crocheter, whatever you want to call me. I need to get this house back to shape. Then I can just sit and do my crochet like I used to. And then actually, oh fly, then actually I will have something to show you. It's not going to be that long. The house is just getting there, but I'm just so slow at everything. And any excuse like looking after Poppy or looking after Gigi, it's like, oh, I can't do that today because I'm looking after Gigi. Oh, I can't do that today, I'm looking after Poppy. And as for the ironing, well, any excuse for that, you know. There's a why in the day, you know. I even brought coat hangers downstairs the other day, showing William. And I was all keyed up to do it the other day, and then I don't know what happened. The mood passed me by. Anyway, I'm hoping that Sue comes this week. I don't know whether she will or she won't. I'll have to wait and see. Oh, big motorbike going past if you can hear it. And Kelly, I speak to Kelly on the phone, or I speak to Kelly, you know, through the wonders of Facebook. But her children don't go back to school for another 2 weeks, I think, or more. So I'm not likely to see Kelly until then. I'm so looking forward to seeing Kelly because I wanted to help them with all my patterns. And I know she's looking forward to looking through them. And I've got a unit for her and everything. I've got everything ready for her. But it's getting them from our house to her house. I don't think I can take a, you know, a big white unit like over my shoulder on the scooter all the way down to Kelly's. I might fit the patterns on the back. No, we'll have to think of a plan. Yeah. Kelly thinks there's a taxi firm that has like people carriers or something. You know, if she comes up and takes the unit apart, so it's just like flat packed, that she might be able to get it in one of these van things or people carriers. You know, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But the driver will take her. Otherwise he'd get hit on the head with this big long 6 foot odd piece of wood. I don't know anybody with a van. I don't think Kelly does either. We need a man with a van. A cheap man with a van. Well, my windows have been cleaned, which is a shame really, because on the patio doors they hadn't been cleaned for so long. I know it's disgraceful, isn't it? But I am an absolute rubbish window cleaner. So all my little huffs and puffs of all the dogs' noses and that have all gone. Very sad. Yeah. And I even had a little tiny handprint there. It must have been one of my great-grandchildren. Little tiny handprint in the middle of the window. And that's all gone now because it's been cleaned. But I can actually see out the window now. See, I'm getting there. I'm going to be so tidy. Excuse me for coughing. Tidy is not me. I'm going for sort of the more or less tidy lived in look, which is much better than the what a mess hoarder look, which I had before. So all the mess will be in the craft room, hoard room, stash room, whatever you want to call it, room. So all the mess will be up in there, and I promise you I will do a video once everything's done. I won't do a video of the whole of the upstairs or anything like that because I'm waiting for my daughter-in-law. She's promised that when she's still got a very bad knee, she can hardly walk, but she's going to paint the newly plastered staircase for me, and she's going to paint my bedroom, which has been stripped of wallpaper. And once I get some new curtains up, yay, I'm going to be so tidy it won't be me. I'll get out of bed and wonder where I am. Anyway, I'm not going to make a long video because I'm hoping that Sue will come and rescue me, and I'm hoping that she's managed to do some crochet. Although I don't know if she will because her daughter's had to go to hospital for one or two things. Not going into details, it's not my story to tell, is it? But you know, she's still on child patrol, I think. So I don't know when she's actually going back to work. She retired from her job, but then she's going to go back on what they call the bank, which means she's going to pick and choose when she goes in, what days she does, etc, etc. Whereas before she got told what days she had to go in, and they messed her about something awful, giving her 2 rotten shifts together, you know, and they just played havoc with her nights, days, whatever. She didn't know what she was on, she didn't know where she was going, you know, and it just got her down really, basically. So, but now she's going to go back, but choosing her days, if you know what I mean. She can say whether she wants to go in or not. So that makes it much, much easier for her to plan things, and also for holidays and things. You know, because it's like where I used to work, you had to sort of think where you were going to go and what month you were going to have about January. Because if you didn't put down on the calendar what days you wanted, you know, like in the summer holidays and that, you wouldn't get them because they'd just all be snapped up and you'd be left with October, you know. And it had this policy, you see, only so many people off at once, you know, because they had to cover for people being off ill and things like that. So I hadn't got the hang of this for a couple of years, you know. I got stuck with all the awful holidays like October, November, which is okay if you're going abroad, but I usually wasn't. And you can't even do painting and decorating when I was able to. If you're having time off, you know, like October, it's not the same. You can't fling all the windows open unless you freeze. Gosh, those were the days. I would love to put coats of paint on things. I keep thinking, I'm going to get some paint. I really am going to do it. I could probably do the walls in this room because they're not so high. But I couldn't do the ceiling, you see, so that's a bit pointless, isn't it? So that's why I don't try anymore. Mainly my arms and shoulders, everything would probably start to ache, so it's probably as well if I don't bother. It'll get done one day, won't it? And I'm not a fussy person. As long as there's paint on the wall and it's nice and clean, ish. I mean, obviously it wants redoing. It's been done a few years now, probably about 3 or 4 years, so it wants freshening up, if you know what I'm saying. So if you want to fly over with your paintbrushes and your paint, then come and do this for me. No room for you to stay though, unless you lie on yarn. It's like we were saying before, we need beam me up Scotty, don't we? We need to teleport. And yes, I will come and see you, Rosita, in the Philippines, if I can teleport there. Be nice teleporting, because I couldn't sit on a plane for a long time. I can't even sit in a chair for a long time before I have to get up and have a walk around. Well, I'm going to think about my dinner now. I think it's going to be a baked potato. I think so. Not sure what it's going to be with. Oh, I know what it's going to be with. I've got some cooked sausages in the fridge, which I can heat up, because I made a sausage casserole the other day. So I've got a couple of sausages left, so they can go with my baked potato. That's an idea. That's what I shall have. Anyway, I don't know what you're having for your lunch, your dinner, your breakfast, or whatever it is that you're doing. And I hope your crochet or your knitting is more prolific than mine, because mine's just hit a bit of a stop, really. Well, it hasn't really, has it? Because, I mean, I have done that much. So I haven't been completely wasting my time. And I did finish these off, although it's a few days ago. So I'm going to close this patio door now, because it's going darker and it's going colder. Once it gets to about 5 PM over here in Manchester, it does get a little chilly. I have to admit, I have to give up. I haven't quite got goose pimples yet, but they'll be soon. So, it's my lovely neighbour next door, Julie. It's her birthday today. And she posted a lovely photograph. She's gone out with her friends for lunch or tea or whatever she's gone out for. And she looked like she was having a lovely time. And there was a plate full of these really yummy looking cakes on the top of one of those 3-tiered things like that. And I'm thinking, I'd like a cake like that. But I don't want a cake like that as so much as to want to get on my scooter and go and buy a cake like that. No, not going to happen. Because I can't go out and buy a cake. I go in the supermarket and I come out with about £60 worth of groceries that I don't need. So, I'm eating up what's in my fridge, first of all. Because tomorrow I'm going to make a corned beef hash. I think you have that over there, don't you? It's like potatoes, carrots, onions, corned beef. And you put it in a pan and you make a stew, hash, whatever. So that's what I think it's going to be tomorrow, because I've got corned beef in the fridge as well. I got it for sandwiches, but I thought, no, I'm going to make hash with it instead. So, really, I am going now. The guy next door is coughing as loudly as I cough, so I don't know whether we've got a virus and I blew it his way, I don't know. I'm not going to see the doctor till next Tuesday, I think it is. I've got a list as long as my arm. I only get 10 minutes. I'll have to be quick what I want to tell him, won't I? And I've got itchy nose now. Does that mean I'm going to get annoyed? Hope not. There's only me and Gigi to get annoyed with, isn't there? And I don't usually get annoyed with Gigi, because he's a little sweetie, isn't he? Except when he wants to bite people, but he's not doing as much of that lately. I've got to admit, he's been good. And he greeted Poppy like, "Oh, Poppy." I wasn't sure he'd remember, but oh gosh. No, they were like, "Oh, hello, hello." They were so excited to see each other. So that was nice. There was no arguing. It was so sweet. Yeah. But, right, for about the 4th time, I'm going to say goodbye. And I really am going this time. So bye. Bye.